Hey, this Omar, and just doing a quick recap of so far it's probably the game of the year, and you wouldn't have thought it, you feel me? Especially how they had Kansas City on their schedule, and just the people that they had on the schedule, you wouldn't have thought that this game right here yesterday was the game was going to quite possibly be the game of the year. And the Vikings, they showed a lot of grit, and they showing some us like they might got some sauce up there that people better start paying attention to. You feel me? Everybody just it was a foregone conclusion just because of how Philly put it on them in week 2. And then how Dallas been looking, what I'm saying, how San Fran been looking, that they kind of wasn't even really talked about. And then Tampa Bay out there lurking. But Minnesota better get some people attention. They go up in Buffalo in a hostile environment, and Kirk Cousins traditionally cracks in them type of situations. You get what I'm saying? And he had some signs of old Kirk out there, but they came together as a team and got a good ass victory, And so Josh Allen, the guy that everybody in love with, people going to realize eventually that, I see him as just a mobile version of Big Ben. And Big Ben like that, he could throw it up, stat it up for you, look good as shit during the regular season. But then in certain moments, he gonna throw that do a bad turnover or not make a play. You know what I'm saying? And like I said in one of my earlier videos, he he a good, yeah. If they jump out on your neck and you don't got the weapons, they gonna run you down, run over your ass. But if you got some dudes on your squad that got a little bit of hop, then they gonna have some problems. And I said this like early in the season. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to pad the pieces to match their offense. And Minnesota, one of them teams, if they get locked in, you got Cousins, you got the best receiver in the game, man. I guess it was something that he trying to show out on Stephon Diggs that on the other side of the field. But you got JJ, you got Adam Thielen, and then they got the dude from Detroit, DJ Hawkinson, and then you got that Davin Cook. You feel me? And so that right there, that personnel grouping that they gonna have in most weeks is gonna be hard for a defense to stay from allowing them to at least get in scoring range. You know what I'm saying? So you looking at Josh Allen. He had one of his games. They jumped out. They looking good as shit first half, 24-10. And he was 29 to 43, 330, one touchdowns, two interceptions. The last interception, the most crucial. The running game, they still relying on him too much, and everybody saying that, because everybody watching. He doing it, but eventually you gonna run down. It's just like Lamar Jackson. He the same way. When he would do all what he was doing that MVP year, he get more fatigued in the playoffs because that's when you gotta make a play. You gotta make a play with your arm, and the runs is not gonna be as much as they were in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? So, running the ball as a team, they had 175, which is solid for them. But he led the way with 84 on 6 carries and 25 with his longest. Singletary, he had 47 yards on 13 carries and 2 touchdowns. But if for some reason they don't trust him enough to just feed him the ball like 20 plus attempts per game. But it's kind of odd. Cook, they rookie dude, he had 22. So they McKenzie had an 18 yarder. So like I said, they was pretty solid. That's normally a recipe. You get Allen throwing for 330, and then running for 175. That's pretty. That's a recipe for a dub in most cases. Diggs, he had on 16 targets, he caught 12 for 128, and Davis, he came through. had 9 targets and caught 6 for 93 and a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Then Knox had on 6 targets, he caught 4 for 57. So the people they be needing to do plays for them, showed up. They had 4 sacks. Um, Von Miller had a sack. Edmonds had a half a sack, and I don't know Bashan, but he had a sack. But I mean, they had QB hits. They had 10. So they do, they one of them teams that even if they don't get a ton of sacks, they're gonna be hitting your quarterback. And then they got 2 interceptions as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much, and they scored 30. So normally Buffalo get a dub, but if you up against a crew that's saying we gonna walk your ass down, right? And that's what they did, literally. They spotted them 20. They spotted them 14 points. Yeah, everybody say, okay, yeah, it's a track me, even me. I'm saying, man, damn, I thought Minnesota was gonna be tougher than this. You feel me? I didn't think they was gonna just lay the fuck down like that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they starts creeping. Creeping in the sense where they stop giving Buffalo all them plays where they moving the chains. They punting the ball more, not even more, a whole lot. And then, they only come out that quarter with a field goal, the third quarter, right? And so then, Minnesota, they get a field goal, right? So it's still they down by double digits going into the fourth, but they had the ball right there to start the fourth quarter, and then they got hot. They started hitting that shit, and that dude JJ, right? I don't know if he would have been able to do that on Tre'Davious White, probably not. But on the dude that was checking him, yeah, he gave him a nice dose. He gonna have nightmares where if you facing Buffalo and Davis ain't out there, we gonna say, oh yeah, I think he good money right there. We gonna burn his ass up, and that's what they did. So JJ, hands down, since Cooper Kupp taking a step back, and he got hurt. So I don't know how much time he gonna be out, but JJ about to stake claim as that top dude as far as at that position for the year. You know what I'm saying? And then he got a quarterback that's gonna feed him. You feel me? And like everybody can say what they want about Cousins, right? Yeah, he gonna make them plays. Y'all, everybody keep looking at the Washington version of him, and then the version of him with the other coach that was all like he just didn't, just don't make a bad play. Instead of you having a coach that say, man, just go do your thing, we gonna rock with you either or. And so he got a coach like that, and then he making some key passes, man, like this pass right here that he caught that shit. You was like, damn, that was a nice ass fucking catch and pass. You know what I'm saying? Like he just they in like one of them things where you could see during a season where the quarterback and the receiver they just on that same wavelength, and that's what you definitely see. You feel me? Diggs went over because he was like, yeah, he need a quarterback, right? And so JJ came on the scene that same year Diggs left. JJ came, man. He caught his first pass and ain't stopped catching ever since. So, much respect to Minnesota. You go run down their stats, right quick. And it was just an all around team effort. Cousins, he had, 30 completions on 50 attempts, 357, a touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So that kind of looked like, oh shit, cousin gonna fuck the game up again. But then he got some dudes that say, nah, we got your back, man. We got your back. Devin Cook had that big 81 yarder in the second half. Yeah, it was the second half. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was in the second half. Yeah, that kind of like, yeah, cause then Buffalo had to like they couldn't just tee off on Cousins. You feel me? Now they had the thing that they needed because they had Cook to worry about and they had JJ to worry about. So that's kind of what made the defense really non-effective in that second half. You feel me? So aside from that, yeah, they got him to kick that field goal. And then that play where, at the end of towards the end of the fourth quarter, where they stuffed Cousins from putting, ice in the game, really at that moment with that touchdown. And so, they get the ball off that, down stoppage, and then Josh Allen, he turned over the ball right there, and then Minnesota scoop it right there in the end zone. And so they flipped it to where, Buffalo had to try to get in field goal range. And when you started seeing them play prevent, I said, man, y'all about to fuck this game up, because the prevent, it don't work. Period. It never works. You get what I'm saying? It only works if you gotta stop a touchdown. But if you gotta stop a field goal, the prevent defense though is gonna prevent your ass from getting a fucking win, and that's what KC did. Buffalo did that shit, and KC was able to come back in the game in the wild card game, and that shit was about to happen to Minnesota because he could just see, because everybody is just off and shit. So they just catching the ball, making the first down, run out of bounds. And so they moved the ball in field goal range, no timeouts, within like a matter of like 20, 22, 25 seconds. You know what I'm saying? They skirted all the way down there until they got in field goal range. And so that was 30-30, and they had to go into overtime. And then Minnesota had the ball that whole fucking overtime, just grinding that clock, making the pass, hit him, hit Thielen, hit JJ. I mean, the passing, just like Cousins was just locked in, making all them passes. And then they got kind of like clunky with the play calling in the overtime, where they could have got the touchdown, and so they had to settle for the field goal, flip it back to Buffalo. Buffalo get the ball, they marching down the field, because Minnesota defense, you could tell they gagging, and so they getting down there. And so they going for the fucking win, and he threw the ball over the middle, and then the old wily vet, Patrick Peterson, he done caught that thing, his second interception for the game. And then, because he threw it over the middle, he thought he seen something, but Peterson kind of tricked his ass. And then when he just threw it up, Peterson made a hell of a play, like an all-pro play. Like, people almost forget how much of a dude he was in the Cardinals, but he was always making plays like that. He lost a little bit of step, but he always had an eye for the ball. Like, he one of them ball hawking ass dudes or whatever. So he seen it in the air, and he went and got that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, JJ, his stats on 16, he caught 10 for 193 in the touchdown. You feel me? Thielen, seven targets. He caught 5 for 49. Hawkinson, he had 10 targets, 7 for 45. You feel me? And then Osborne, he had 11 targets, 4 for 35. So it's like he was giving everybody their targets. Some of them passes was uncatchable, and some of them was on point. And so, it was just it's a thing to watch when you see a good ass offense going both sides. You know what I'm saying? It was cool to watch. They defense didn't really get too many sacks. They only had 2 sacks, and they only had 4 QB hits. But the 3 turnovers is kind of what helped them, win the game and whatnot. And so, like I said, once the offense has got it going in the second half, it's like, there was just about like who make less mistakes. You feel me? And so that stop at the goal line for Buffalo, everybody was like, "Oh shit, maybe Buffalo might steal this shit, and maybe the momentum done swung back in their favor." And so, the fact that Minnesota kept that thing going in overtime, that was just a hell of a performance. And so people got to pay attention. They only lost to the only loss they have is to the team that's undefeated. So, but people still don't say that they are top. They not, when you look at power rankings, they still don't put them in the top 5. It's like they only have one fucking loss. You got teams that got 2 losses, and you can match Minnesota up versus KC versus Buffalo versus all the people in the top. Philly again, and they gonna do their shit. And the fact that they did this shit on the road, this wasn't in Minnesota, so they should feel hella confident going forward. Like they should like they chance versus everybody as long as they come to play. So they're gonna have Dallas, and that's gonna be another heavyweight matchup. and to see like, where Dallas at, they can match themselves up, and then Minnesota can see like if they can, still produce these points on that defense. You feel me? Because their defense gonna be like want to come back from the performance they had versus Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, that was a like I said, a hell of a performance, hell of a game, and yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. All right, thanks for listening.